This is definitely a career highlight. I started the year off 2011 as an absolute nobody.
Front kick to the skull!
So the whole plan to get noticed or get fired? In real life, Nick is one of my best friends and we put a lot into this match. On the YouTube show, we continue the storyline. WWE didn't acknowledge it, and I'll never forget, we want Ryder all fucking match. All right, this is a top 5 match in my career, a defining moment in my career. Zack Ryder, rest in peace, against Dolph Ziggler, I guess also rest in peace. TLC 2011 WWE pay-per-view. Man, I win the US title, spoiler, but this is definitely a career highlight. If you know anything about my career, Zack Ryder's career, I started the year off 2011 as an absolute nobody. Already in the ring on Raw, getting squashed. And I started my own YouTube show, Z True Long Island Story. And I end the year going for the United States title on pay-per-view. So the whole plan of that YouTube show was to get noticed or get fired. I didn't want to get fired, but I knew if I got fired, I could use that buzz to go to like TNA or something like that. Luckily, through my hard work and through the Ryder Revolution, all the fans chanting my name, buying my merch, I end the year going for the US title. And it's funny because in real life, Nick is one of my best friends and we put a lot into this match. And I'm not talking about the moves, I'm talking about the story going into the match. On the YouTube show, we continue the storyline. WWE didn't acknowledge it. I think in 2024 they would, but back then, 2011, they had no idea what YouTube was, so I can get away with anything, you know what I'm saying? So we had so much fun building to this match. We did something with Hugh Jackman, which was really cool. We should have had the match at Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden, but it's almost better that it didn't happen because the company booked, oh, here I come, woo, woo, woo. They booked John Morrison, another good buddy of mine, versus Ziggler, and I'll never forget, we want Ryder all fucking match. So I'm glad that happened because it made this match in Baltimore so much more special. Here I come, I have unique gear, one night only gear. It's not that great actually. Going back, if I could go back in time, if I can get in the DeLorean and go back in time, I would get more Toyota gear. This is kind of basic. This kicks off the show, the first match on the show. So if you're not the main event, you want to be first. So the crowd's always the hottest. So this is from 2011. I'm sure I've watched it before, but not in, man, at least a decade. So here we go. Oh my God, I'm cringing looking at myself, how skinny I am. That's one regret I have is that during this era, I wish, not that I didn't take working out seriously, I just didn't know enough about it. It's not so much working out, it's the dieting. I wasn't eating enough. So I wish that I was in better shape then, but you can't go back in time. Here we are. Uh-oh. Ziggler from Kent State doing some real amateur wrestling on me. Vickie Guerrero outside the ring, who I was with as part of La Familia with the Edgeheads. She had so much heat just being in the ring with her so many times or on stage with her so many times as La Familia, and she'd be talking with a microphone and I'd be behind her or next to her and I couldn't hear her because the crowd just hated her so much. That's what you want in this business, to be loved or to be hated. Look at those deep arm drags. Shades of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Ooh, all right. Nice headlock. We got a little spot going on, a little tackle. This whole feud, if you will, means so much to me because it was, like I said, a defining moment in my career with one of my best friends. And like we got an action figure 2-pack out of it. You know me, I'm an action figure guy, I love it. Oh, here we go, big slingshot. We don't see that many slingshots these days. Okay, now clothesline over the top rope, a move that I later do, tear my pec. Don't tear my pec this time, which is good. I'm not a big dive guy, but there it is. Look at all those foam fists in the crowd, the kids dressed as broskies. Some of those kids are probably like 30 now. It's actually been cool on the indies to wrestle a lot of people who were broskies or try to be broski of the week and had the headband, the wig, the glasses, all the merch, and now I get to wrestle them. It makes me feel old, but it makes me feel good that they say I was their inspiration and the reason they got into wrestling. John Cone, gotta shout out John Cone, referee John Cone, one of my best friends in the business. We go way back to Deep South Wrestling, the WWE developmental territory. He was a referee then, I was one of the Major Brothers, and to this day, we still text all the time. He's actually the referee when I win the tag team titles with Kurt Hawkins at WrestleMania 35. So he's been there for a lot of important moments in my career. It's kind of around this time, maybe shortly after this time, where Arn Anderson takes a liking to me. Maybe it's actually a little before this time. I'll never forget this. We're in Mexico. We're probably like 6 or 7 months into Z Trolling On Story, and we're backstage. Picture this, Arn Anderson backstage. This is 2011, backstage, laying on a couch with a laptop on his belly, watching Z Trolling On Story. And you could tell like he didn't get it, but he understood that I was trying, and he respected that, and he took a liking to me from that day forward. And I remember him telling me that I was too pretty, I had to be more snug in the ring, really lay it in. So when people say I'm too stiff, I say, hey, don't blame me, blame AA Arn Anderson. Huge ovation when I came out. Like the Ryder revolution was in full swing by this point. This is like the pinnacle, the peak. My dad is sitting in the audience. I don't know where he is. I know he's there. I got him the ticket. It doesn't really add any extra nerves because my dad, he was at my first match, filming on a camcorder. He came to so many things, big or small, even to this day, comes to my indie shows, gets involved in my indie shows, took a light to by Nick Gage. So my dad's one of my biggest supporters, so it doesn't make me any extra nervous that he comes to the shows, but it does mean a lot for sure. I'll never forget, like after like this match, like backstage, there was all the boys, like a round of applause because like it was proof. Like the first time in history, somebody who wasn't supposed to get over got over, said, fuck it, I'm going to get over, whether you want to book me to get over or not. And it worked. And I think it was such like I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it was just like an inspiration to other guys. Like, shit, if he can do it, anybody can do it. Even to this day, it'd be so ignorant and delusional to say that I'm the hardest worker, but who works harder than me? Let's just say that. You know, at this time, I just knew I could accomplish more. I knew that there was bigger and better things for me. And I just started that YouTube show and I didn't have this grand plan. I got this flip camera for Christmas for my parents. I'm like, what if I start this YouTube show? And if you watch the first episode, I'm just in my apartment against a plain white wall. I don't know what I'm doing, but it evolves. And I start adding in my friends and my family and, you know, acknowledging that I'm the guy who's losing in 2 seconds, you know, or 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. They can't say, you lose all the time if I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? So there's like the self-deprecating humor got me over. Like, and speaking of getting over, like I do skits like climbing the fence and the cameraman would say, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to get over. So like I was acknowledging my shitty spot, but in a fun way and poking fun at myself and not bitching and moaning like everybody does on the internet these days. I didn't want to be negative. I wanted to be funny and I wanted to be doing something positive. Oh, there's the broski buster. Oh man, here we go. Big flying forearm. You know that's stiff. Oh, is this the boot? Oh, I remember I was so mad right now because he's on the wrong side.
Zack Ryder.
I hate being on this side. But look, I'm a pro. I look at the hard cam anyway for the woo woo woo, and then bam! Broski boot, now called the reboot.
Did you get heat for trying to get over on your own? Were you the only one doing that at that time?
I was the only person trying to advance my career. I just wasn't satisfied with my spot. And I knew I needed to do something about it. I pitched all these ideas. And listen, not every idea is going to go through, and that's fine. But I knew I needed to do something. I never wanted to live, you know, in regret. I knew I have to try or else I'm always going to wonder what if. And I'm so glad I did. And yeah, the next year, all my hard work kind of goes down the drain, but like it is what it is. And people always say, oh, like the company, you know, they buried you because you got over on your own. And listen, I hate that's a cop out. I never want to be that guy who wants to blame anybody else. I will blame myself. I'll always blame myself. I could have easily like knocked on Vince McMahon's door and said, hey, what's going on here? I'm one of the top merch sellers. I'm working my ass off. Why are we doing this? I didn't do that, so I blame myself. I will never say I was buried. I will never blame anybody else for my failures. That's just a loser mentality, in my opinion. So Nick and I, we met while I was in developmental, but was already on the main roster. It was a weird time where I was a major brother, but also an OVW. And Nick, he was a caddy, Chavo Guerrero's caddy, then he was in the Spirit Squad, and then that ended, and he got sent back to developmental. It's in that weird limbo time that we meet, but then he comes up as Dolph Ziggler. I don't even know why we started riding together. I think just to save money on a rental car and hotel rooms, you know, and then we would ride together for years. We'd spray each other's back with spray tanner, you know, so we did everything together. And to this day, he was at my wedding party. So to this day, one of my closest friends, both in or out of the business, I consider him one of my closest friends. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Shades of Mikey Whipwreck, my trainer. He called it the Franken Mikey. I call it the Franken Rider. There it is. Oh, beautiful Franken Rider from the top rope, going for that desperation cover. I don't know what's going on with my hair color there. It's like, it's like a weird, like blonde, orangish. This is when I was doing like the tips. Oof. This is, if I could go back in time, I'd change that, pal. That was, oh boy, doesn't look good. The crowd is so into this match, and it just makes things so much easier when they're into it. You can really like slow down and digest and let the fans digest, right? Because if you just do move, and you never let the fans digest what they just watched, like you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think this is the big finish here. Oh, big splash, double knees. Nobody takes it like Nick Nemeth. Rough Rider, beautiful picture perfect Rough Rider. Here it is, 1, 2, 3, and like I can't, look, there's my dad right there. He's wearing his glasses on his sweatshirt and he grabs them so they don't fall off. Looks like he's having a heart attack. Looks like he's grabbing his heart. The people are going nuts. And I remember like, I'm in shock. I really won the US title. And I'm asking John Cone like, where's my dad? Where's my dad? Because I want to get that shot. And luckily he's right there like behind the commentators. And I think at this point I'm looking for him. John Cone's telling me where he is. There, I run over to him, we get a big hug. Like this is a moment like, this was not part of the show. They didn't say go hug your dad after. Like, and I'm just celebrating with all the people. This, like, to me, this is an iconic shot that's about to come up where I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I just stand on the announce table. Just stand out there, like hold it up and give him a big woo, woo, woo. But it's kind of like also a fuck you to anybody who doubted me. I didn't want to prove anybody wrong. I didn't care about that. It was about proving myself and my fans right. If it wasn't for Z trolling on Story and this title win and this match, I honestly feel like I wouldn't be here today.